I'll burn the pancakes and probably the house too, but baby, it's stuck to me like glue.
Hey everybody, I just want to give you a little tidbit of a warning right now. I am going through nicotine withdrawals again because you should never stop trying. I'm 2 days into my period, and tomorrow evening I leave my cat, which I hate doing, and I'm going on a 5-day trip to Cancún and Tulum. I'm very, very excited, but let me get the mushy emotional stuff out of the way first. You know, if it wasn't for the people in my life that give me love and support and beauty that I see every day, just when having little conversations or little moments with these people that choose to love me, I wouldn't be so peeved right now. But basically, I went on a tangent with one of my friends, and I was like, oh my God, I'm leaving soon. I need to ask people that have been to Mexico recently what it's like so that I don't make a complete idiot out of myself. And so I hit up a couple of buddies of mine, and one buddy's like, yeah, you'll be fine. Like, you want to save that at a pharmacy? Go for it. You'll have a great time. No problems. I think that guy wants to try to get me killed. The other guy's like, absolutely the fuck not. Don't go in there and say that. Like, basically, I thought it would be a good idea to get a list of like 5 or 8 things that I wanted to get at a pharmacy because you don't need a prescription. And I was like, I want to come back with some things for my friends and family that they requested that are hard to get in the States. Hard to get's not even the word. It's like, don't even try to get, you know, whether you gotta miss work or pay a fortune, or sure, you can get anything you want, but is it laced? Is it going to cost you $500? Are you going to have to miss $1,000 worth of work? Is your doctor going to approve it? All the various reasons, right? And so I wasn't going to go over there and get too crazy, if you know what I mean. But, you know, I had a friend who's going through, you know, a trial right now. And he's been on this trial for a while. And he's like, hey, can you get me some, like, sexy pills? And we went on this, like, conversation, like, do you even need them? Is it mental? Like, here I am, Miss Fix a Personality. And I'm like, okay, how do we fix this? Like, you know, you don't need pills, but, like, really not even with yourself. It's not just, like, with women, like, you know. And I was kind of really touched by his story. And I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to get you some pills. Like, you're a young, sexy-ass dude who feels like he needs this. And it's literally mental, but, like, try telling a girl that and try to have him tell me that. Like, I could see the vulnerability in that. And I was like, fuck yeah. Oh, and by the way, like, you're having trouble sleeping at night because of all the things that are in your head. Like, yes, I'm going to get you some stuff for insomnia. Or my other friend who wants antibiotics that are hard to get because insurance is giving them shit. Or members of my family that wants ridiculously strong pain medication. Things like that, right? And to me, a good gift was, yeah, I can get you a keychain, I can get you a magnet. But no, I want to come back with some shit that's going to put you to bed and, you know, just rest your mind for a little bit. I want to get you out of your pain momentarily. And I thought to myself, like, you know, this is not my first rodeo. I did some stuff in Argentina back in the day, and I definitely did take a lot of risks doing what I was doing back then. But, you know, I didn't have a condo. I was younger, and I don't even want to say more ignorant, but, like, I honestly wasn't as jaded as how I picture the world these days. And I hate feeling that way, but, like, I was like, you know, are customs going to really care if I bring back 5 bottles to give to people that are severely in pain and struggling right now? No, they're not going to care. But yeah, you can go to jail for the rest of your life for it, for sure. You could get, fined thousands of dollars. I could lose my condo over it. But do they really care about that? Or do they just want like $50 because, the government's not getting paid for you bringing over something that you can't get in the United States? And I'm like peeved. I'm super peeved because I'm like, okay, yeah, you can go to Mexico and you can get anything you want if you bribe somebody for it. But can I really say that America is any different? You won't accept the bribe because bribes are illegal, but do bribes happen? Sure. But does somebody need to lose their livelihood over like somebody finally getting the relief that they need? I actually got depressed over it because me going to Mexico became less about, hey, I just want a very cheap plate. And I don't want to say cheap. I just want to get some chilaquiles and burritos and not be crying because I can't afford them in America. And instead, I'm going to treat myself every single day and eat my favorite food on the planet. And I'm not going to have to cry and scream and fight with myself over getting it because it's actually an affordable price. And it became less about doing that and sipping a mojito on the beach. And it became more about like, all right, here's this laundry list of shit that I need to bring back to my friends and family so that they're good. And I was really putting this pressure on myself to do that. And, it kind of came back in twofold, where my cousin's like, I work for the government and I just don't feel comfortable with you doing that. So please don't. And then my other friend who like legitimately actually knows what's up. Yeah, he can get away with things all he wants till he's purple. But there's a cost to that side of things too. And so he's telling me straight up because he is not me. Yes, if you go and do the things that you just told me you were going to do, yeah, you might get away with it, but also maybe don't take the risk. And I hate that I'm at this age now where like I can't do stuff like that anymore. I was grateful enough in my past to learn from my mistakes, and I didn't end up in jail or whatever, and nothing I did was ever that bad, but a lot of things aren't that bad but severely get blown out of proportion in the States, anywhere really. But I've just been a little jaded lately. Like I was telling my friend, I had been single for so long. I still am single for so long. And I said, there's some countries I'm dying to go to: Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Greece, Istanbul. I really want to go to these places. And most of the places I mentioned, it's not like live your life thing. It's like, no, it might be worrisome for you to go as a single girl by yourself, traveling to these places literally by yourself, and you don't speak the language. Yeah, nothing could happen to me, and also something could, right? So I don't have a death wish, is what I'm saying. Like I'm not trying to do something just because my ego or pride, says that I can or says that I should, right? So I told my cousins, I said, like our cousin's boyfriend just shared us a story about some really great parts of Mexico when we were in Thanksgiving. And it really inspired me. And I'm like, damn, of all the places that my cousins have gone, what's one of the few places they haven't traveled around the world? And are they okay going with me somewhere? Because I haven't gone out of the country or done a big trip in several years. And this is a big deal for me because I did all these fun things in my 20s, and then I became an adult, and a lot of trauma happened, a lot of trauma, and I turned that trauma into work, never stop, stay in your bubble, keep in control, stay in your bubble, keep in control. And this is the first year where I'm like, Evelyn, snap out of it. You traveled the world when you were younger, and now you're starting to feel like an old maid. Get out, have some fun. You're literally not dead yet. And I think mentally I've been feeling, well, I'm dead yet. I'm getting older. I'm 34 years old. And we know what 34-year-olds are to the younger generation might as well be 60. And ageism is a thing. And who cares about discrimination? It's still difficult to get a job. My brain was like spiraling, right? Anyway, so I tell my cousins, like, hey, would you guys be down to go to Mexico with me? So I don't have to go alone. Like, I could, but whatever. I'd be more likely to go and dip my feet into the sand and get my toes wet if I could go with you guys. And they're like, actually, yeah, like, we haven't been to Cancun. But I specifically told them, I want to go to the rural parts. I want to go where it's cheap as fuck. I want to go to the jungles and I want to see the pyramids. I want the most authentic part of Mexico I could go, because I've only ever been to Tijuana. And that ended up being, oh, okay, we're going to go to Cancun and Tulum and all the touristy places. And we're going to stay at a 5-star resort with some points. And everything is going to be American prices. And we're going to see Americans everywhere we go. And it's just going to be like, debaucherous, like stupid fucking Americans everywhere we go. Excuse my French. And I'm starting to get a little not excited about my trip. Because I was like, damn, all I wanted to do was go on a vacation because I could afford it and like, quote, splurge on some really cheap food. And now I feel like I'm just going to go to a place where I got to swipe my credit card and it's just going to be like I'm in America. And everywhere around me is going to be like white Caucasian people and their $300 dresses and their stupid fucking Prada glasses. And everyone's just being an American in Mexico. And I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. I like to be one with the people. I am one of the people. There's only so many nice things you can have before like some things you can't. I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer. It's like I'm waiting for the critics to be like, oh, this bitch gets to go on vacation, which some people don't get to do. Like, why is she bitching right now? And I get your point. It's when you're in a capitalistic society and, you're in the grind and everything is tough. Like, I don't know. I'm in a weird headspace right now. I feel like I have a lot of empathy for a lot of people in my life, and I see a lot of people that are struggling, and I do feel guilty to take a 5-day vacation. I think I'm being emotional because I see the love that I have in my life lately, and I'm just very grateful for it. Like, I'm paying my neighbor $100. Oh my God, so much trust. To feed my cat morning and night, take out his litter box, and then that's it. And he's giving me a good deal. I couldn't get anybody in my life to help me out and do that for me. And he lives in my building, and it was very sweet of him to be able to do it. He's just going to buy probably like 10 packs of cigarettes, But, he's a nice guy. And I'm grateful. And, I think I've been feeling a little sentimental lately because I don't know why I know why it affected me so hard, but my friend's friend had a 11-year-old dog that just passed, and he sent me a picture of his friend laying down on the floor, like crying and hugging his dog that was passing away. And I just nearly about lost it. And he sent that maybe last week. And every time I think about my cat, I just start like bawling my eyes out. And one of the things that I have to contend with is, I haven't experienced a lot of loss, like death. I have had my uncle passed, my grandpa passed, and those were difficult losses. But I'll admit, I've said this kind of before, but my cat is the reason why I was alive for a very long time. And so many times I could have chosen a different kind of life for myself, but my cat is who showed me unconditional love, who showed me how to be a good mom, who has loved me honestly more than I think any other thing has ever loved me or person has ever loved me in my life. And to be leaving him and for him not to know, why is mommy gone? Why am I alone for 5 days in the house? I'm just like, I'm not handling it well. I really love my cat a lot, and this is the first time where I'm not taking him to my aunt and grandma's because of the type of environment that they're in right now. And I have to just trust that a neighbor who I don't know very well is going to have keys to my house, and just trust that he's not going to let my cat out. He's not going to steal my shit. It's just a lot of trust. You know what I mean? But I'm just feeling a lot of empathy for people lately. And I think I've been in a place where I've been very jaded by America lately. And I think I just so badly want to take a break from America. And I've been kind of going down mental rabbit holes lately of, hey, my cameras are off, my microphones are off, I have to jump through all these hoops whenever I do need my camera or mic. But I'm still seeing social media posts that are coming up, of a conversation I just had with a friend, and now they're like role playing this skit in front of me on social media. Because it's like they got that from, what they just heard on my phone. Like that happened to me the other day. My dude friend was like dying. He was laughing so hard. And I was like, do you not realize that we just had this conversation and we just interacted like this whole thing out in the kitchen? And then now you're seeing it on social media and you think it's hilarious and you're like feeling over dying because it's the funniest thing. I'm like, yeah, it's relatable because this is just what happened to us. Like, you don't think that's creepy? And he's like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. It's out of our control. And I think what bothers me is like, I had to kind of watch this podcast the other day to kind of take myself back a little bit and remind myself not to be too much of a conspiracy theorist, or not to be a negative Nancy, or not to be jaded about the things that are not in our control. The fact that I can turn my GPS off, my tracking off, my mic off, my camera off, and yet people are still taking my data. People are still trying to feed me with information, as they are for everybody. And it's a lot less than a lot of other people. Like, I don't get a lot of, I think all these big trillionaire companies know that they're not going to get a buck out of me. So maybe they're like, oh, there's just some people that are immune to it. But I still see the impact that they have in my life. And I don't want to see any more billboards, and I don't want to see any more propaganda, and I don't want to see self-help influencers that have been turned into profit and don't care about you at all. Like, I delete my apps constantly, and, I only bring them back like once a week when I'm publishing a new episode. And I had to contend with myself the other day. I said, Evelyn, like, if you're not about likes and clicks, and if it's not about whether or not this podcast turns into a business, then why the fuck are you telling people, hey, go here on my Instagram page to Duck Life Productions if you want to follow? Like, if that's not your thing. I can still engage with people in the comments on Spotify, Apple, Podlink, Amazon, YouTube. Also, shout out to the people who are listening on YouTube. You guys fucking rule. You guys are engaging and you're opening up, and I love it. And I'm super excited about it. That honestly is like the fire that fuels me. And I really respect and appreciate that a lot. All I wanted was some engagement. So I finally got it. I'm very excited about that. But yeah, I'm just trying not to be a jaded person. And I think it's hard because, I've got this friend, or my neighbor, who's watching my cat actually, and he's fully addicted to his phone. And my friend was like, yeah, everybody's addicted to that. I said, no, not like this guy. Not like this guy. I think he works a certain kind of job and lives a certain kind of life because he cannot stop watching YouTube. He cannot stop listening to the news and social media. And I see it consume his life. And so every day, honestly, it's a little cuckoo when I see it, but every single day he'll send me 2 or 3 YouTube videos. And it's only like the URL that pops up. And every single day, just about, I tell him, I'm like, I'm not going to watch these videos, right? Like, he's like, I know you're not going to watch them. I said, it's not you. I get overstimulated very easily. I have to be very careful what I feed my brain because it's a lot. And we are all impressionable beings. And I want to stick to having individualistic thought. And also, I don't have time to watch these videos over and over again. Like, I'm not someone that likes to be on my phone. He's like, I get it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not taking offense or anything. But that doesn't stop him from still sending the videos. And if you were to look at the chat in my phone, I'm like asking him, like, hey, can I buy a cigarette off you? Or, hey, like, when are you going to, like, come over and look at Sebastian? And in between those conversations is, YouTube video. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, what is he sending me? And it kind of freaks me out. I think my point to this, though, is I have a point. My point is, it's like he can't help himself. He's not offended. He knows that I'm not going to watch the videos, but he's so addicted to his phone and his screen that he can't help himself. And he just keeps sending. And it makes me sad. Like, when I see my neighbor, I look at him and I think, you are inches away from having a psychotic episode. And I hate saying that because I would not wish that on my worst enemy. But I see, social media isn't real. The news isn't real. Newspapers anymore aren't real. These articles aren't real. Some books and movies are not real. But we are spending more of our lives consumed in data, in content, and being fed what somebody else. And they, you could say, well, it's my algorithm, or I can cater no, bullshit, you can't. Yeah, you're going to do that. And then haven't you seen those studies now where they're like, oh yeah, they are taking what's on your camera, doesn't matter if it's turned on or off, and they are tracking your eyes to see the emotion and your reaction. And that is how they're getting some of their, oh, we should send her more of this and less of that. Okay, put one of those covers over your camera. Now they're doing it to your microphone. Okay, turn off your microphones and put little earphones on your microphones. Well, now they're doing it from your GPS and how long you're on a page. Like, that shit's just overwhelming me. Honestly, it's getting too much for me. And at the end of the day, I have to tell myself, Evelyn, your life isn't a romantic movie. Your life isn't a Terminator movie. You're not going to be June Osborne from The Handmaid's Tale. Like, calm down. At the end of the day, we are living in reality. And the only thing that's actually real is what's in your 2 eyes and you're looking around you. What you see around you, the things that you're hearing, the birds that are chirping, the people that are in line getting their coffee, that's real. When you have a problem and you're going to the DMV, or you're calling up your health insurance, or you're paying your, phone bill on the phone, that shit's real. But when you're going online and someone's saying, oh, did you hear about this? Oh my God, what is it? This like metal slug, or are you hearing about these parasites? And oh, did you see this fire that took over a city? And I'm not saying any of this shit's not going on, but to a degree, you got to ask yourself, how much is that consuming me? How much of that is really affecting me? Am I desensitized to it? Or after a while, does it just get exhausting? And I've gotten so far to the other side of social media and phone use where I'm like, okay, my phone is on 10 hours a day because I got my GPS open because I'm a driver for work. I will open up my emails, obviously. I will check my text messages, sometimes daily, sometimes every other day, sometimes once every 3 days, depending on the person, place, or circumstance or whatever, But I've gotten to the point where I've been a little bit of an extremist about my phone and not wanting to be on it. And I'm just like I said, I've become jaded to what is on what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. And to me, it's just because it looks like bullshit. It looks like propaganda. It looks like pure evil. It looks like these companies are doing things to grab an extra buck out of you and to keep you insane. We have more people stuck in their phones and on their computer screens. Like, if none of that shit's real or doesn't matter or doesn't contribute to your life, your community, and your friends and family or your nation, why are we consumed with it? Why are we spending more time consumed with that stuff than what is in our lives right now? And I think that concept's just been kind of bothering me lately. And yeah, it's mainly in America. It's definitely happening everywhere, but gotta love the Americans for making world domination happen on like that level. Like, I can't say it's only America doing it, but whatever. You get my point. I just wanted to go to Mexico and not be an American for a little bit. I wanted to go to Mexico and not see a bunch of Americans. I wanted to hear other languages. I wanted to see different cultures. And the last thing I want is to hear, oh, it's super touristy and it's going to look and feel like America. God, man, I hope not. I really hope not. Then what's the fucking point, And I am grateful to go. I need this vacation, and it's like I'm going to have to talk myself down a mental ledge and be like, Evelyn, you're allowed to have fun. Evelyn, you're allowed to not check your phone. Evelyn, Sebastian's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And I just want to remind you guys that you're not the only one with these thoughts. We're like in a time that's challenging to figure out, and this is the life that it's going to be, and there's no other way around it. We could be in the medieval days. We can be dealing with the Black Plague right now. We could be stoned to death or burned alive because we read books and we speak another language. So every era has their challenges, and I'm just trying to figure out for me personally how not to overcome this. Excuse me, that truck was like being so I was gonna say machismo. I'm just making a joke. I just gotta figure out how to allow myself to live a little bit and remind myself, Evelyn, maybe things are in the movies and in books and embellished, and maybe we're not going to be the Terminator in 10 or 15 years. Maybe things are dystopian, and maybe things are evil, and maybe things are pretty shitty, but maybe it's not going to be world domination shitty. Maybe it's not going to be 1984. Maybe it's not going to be as intense as the movies and the media portray it to be. Maybe we'll be okay. I'm not saying that there's not a lot of problems in this world. Obviously, I just want to on a rampage about how it's like overwhelming me lately. But I do think that there is a big distinction between your reality and what you see on your screens, what you're hearing from your neighbors and your friends, and what you're being fed. And I think there needs to be a reminder that we are living two separate worlds. One is fake and one is real. And which world do you want to live in? And if you want to live in the world that's real, but it's harsh and, you got to feel things and you're going to get rejected and you're going to get hurt and it's going to be painful, well, fuck it, man. I really hope that you have a friend or a family member that you can go to. And you know what? Just to give you some positive reinforcement, when I started with my therapist, maybe like 4-ish years ago, it's probably 4.5 years ago, she was the only friend and support system and family I felt like I had. Like, I had family, but I couldn't go to them for things so much. There were not conversations that I could really have with them. The things that I needed, I could not get from them. My therapist, mind you, was a stranger, and literally the only person that I feel like I could go to. And after my therapist, it was my cat. Not a human, not a boyfriend, not a sister, not a cousin, not a neighbor. It was my cat. My cat for several years kept me alive. And so I need to kind of work through, my cat's not dying anytime soon. Hopefully, God willing. I genuinely hope and pray that for another 10 years I'll have my cat. But forever how long I have him, I do know that that's something that I need to remind myself that, nothing lasts forever. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. So just a reminder to you guys, because I really hope I'm making this point come across. The world that you're living in, the reality that you're living in, maybe is not as bad as what you're seeing in the news, in the media, in what your friends and family are saying. Trump did this, and Biden did this, and Obama did this, and Harris did this, and, our politicians are doing this. Like, okay, well, are they? First off, are they? And second off, can we just kind of go off of our life circumstances? So, that's kind of all I'm going to say there. One thing, actually, though, I will mention that really weirds me out. I am kind of a skeptic when it comes to politics and what I believe is actually going on. Yeah, a lot of it, most of it, all of it is not in our control. But I'm like, yeah, I don't know if Trump's doing all the things he's doing. I'm kind of one of those people that thinks like, oh, well, he's just a puppet behind the strings of like what other people are doing. You know what I mean? So, who knows? But, it wasn't him that started with the immigration and ICE thing. Like that was before Biden. That was before, that's been happening for like over 20 years. But one thing I don't understand about our current administration is, if I don't think that everything that we're thinking and feeling is actually happening in the government, what I don't understand is why my cousin is in the most beautiful relationship he's ever had with a man who's on a work visa right now. And his work visa expires in 2 years. And if this is a guy that's researching breast cancer and trying to come up with cures to literally save people. And he's one of the most amazing men I have ever met. And I love him for my cousin so much. And he's saying it doesn't matter if it's Trump or not or who it is, because he said somebody somewhere is saying, yes, I have to leave in 2 years no matter what. And I have to be gone for 2 years before I can even attempt to come back. And I guess he got in a car accident like a while ago, like somebody hit him. And he waited too long to renew his license when he went to go get another car and renew his license. And because of like some administration stuff that happened, he can't get his license again. He had it before, but they won't give him a new license. He basically said the only way to stay in the country is if there is a scholarship, like a work sponsors them. And I think it costs like $100,000 or something for a company to say, yes, we will keep you here. And then my cousin's like, well, dude, I'll marry you for paperwork if that's what keeps you here. But that's not even like allowed anymore. He's like, he would still have to be gone for 2 years. And it's just like makes me so mad. I'm like, how do I start a business and give you like get a GoFundMe going and we get people to spend $100,000 and then I'll say that you're working for me. Like, how do we keep you here? And it sucks because this guy is like, all I want to do is be an American. I want to help cure cancer in America. He's a very bougie, lavish guy. And he's like, I just want to like spend a lot of money and like treat people and love people. But America doesn't want me. And it just pisses me off because, I'm not even going to say it's a president thing or a Congress thing. I don't know who the fuck it is, but all I know is that now there are some people here who are trying to come in the right way and they aren't able to do it. He has attorneys, he's got all these people and they're like, yeah, no, sorry, you gotta leave the country for 2 years. And I'm thinking about my cousin, who's been in this beautiful relationship with this guy for over a year. And he feels like he can't progress any further in this relationship because he knows in 2 years he's going to leave. And I'm fucking sad. I'm like, you mean this guy that wants to cure cancer, spend a lot of taxpayers' money here, treats me to a drink or a nice meal whenever we go out because he's a fucking gentleman. And you're telling me that this guy, like, is, man, why did I bring this up? I guess my point is, I don't know what the news is saying, what the media is saying. I'm not putting a blame game on one president or one Congress member or, one politician because I don't know them personally. I know that things are shared tenfold. I know that editing is a thing. I know that you can take someone's interview and cut it into a million pieces and then put a title on there that says, oh, the government is doing this, like, and then you'll eat it up like gravy and you'll believe it. And then you'll tell all your friends and family, oh, look what Trump is doing. So I'm too much of a skeptic. I'm too much of a skeptic. I don't believe all that. But what I do know is in reality, he is not getting the help that he needs to try to stay in this country. And I'm going to fucking miss him. And I'm still trying to find a way. I feel bad too, because he's like, Evelyn, like, if America doesn't want me, it's fine. I'll just go. And I'm like, so you're going to go back to your country where it's illegal to be gay? And what, you would rather suppress your love and like not be able to be open about like being in love? And he's like, well, my job and my career is like more important. I'm like, God damn it. What do you mean? It's wild to me. You'd rather go back to your country where it's illegal to be who you truly are, but you would actually be able to be rewarded for the degree and the job that you worked hard for. Man, can't just say it's America, Maybe that's the way I should look at it. Wow, you guys really got me going on a tangent, didn't you? Oh my gosh, my goodness. I hope some of this is resonating with you. This is definitely all reflections of things that I'm going through, life that I see, the way I perceive things, and it is ever evolving and changing, and none of this is going to be stagnant thoughts. And I just needed a way to be able to get some of this out, and hopefully some of this was motivational or inspiring to you, that you're not alone in these thoughts, that these are real challenges that people are going through, and it's okay to relax and unwind and have fun. And I don't think it's just in America that's capitalistic anymore. I think a lot of us are struggling in a lot of ways, whether it's our health, whether it's our mental or physical health, whether it's family dynamics, whether it's loving yourself or being good to yourself or allowing yourself grace, the opportunity to try life again. I think I was really affected emotionally when a friend came back into my life and said like, hey, let's put away all that stuff in the past and can we make a very real concerted effort to just be good humans for each other. And let me tell you, folks, some people that say that, you're like, it's all the same. You can tell when somebody is genuinely willing to try, and they're going to show it with their words and their actions. And I've been so grateful to have this person back into my life, and in a very, very real, heartwarming and redeeming way. And I would do anything for this guy. And I am just grateful in my life. We get opportunities to try again if you allow yourself that opportunity. I've got family members that have held grudges with other family members and have not spoken for 20, 30 years, as I'm sure you do as well. And how incredibly amazing would it be if at the end of the day, you could just turn to that family and just be grateful that you are with each other, sharing a laugh, sharing a memory, and sharing love. And that really is what it's all about, right? And I think it's so easy to get stuck in what people are griping about or complaining about or worrying about. But there is so much beauty to be had. And, it could just be a bad day or a bad week or a bad month or a bad year that you're having. But some things are in your control. What you think And what you feel is in your control and how you choose to react to it. And it might take some time and some practice. But man, I hope if there's somebody in your life that you miss or you feel resentment towards or have a conflict with, I hope that you feel in your heart to do something outlandish and crazy and reach out to them and show some emotion. If someone says, hey, can we talk? Please don't ignore that message. Please don't immediately block that person. I know it depends on the person, the circumstance, how long it's been. But I think in this world that we're living in, it's not a bad thing to connect, as we are disassociated from people these days. And I think it would be great if we can come together and share a laugh, share a hug, share a kiss, share a moment with somebody, and just appreciate that we are alive, we are here right now. I don't know if we're going to end up dead in a ditch one day and we have no consciousness and we have no awareness. And I can't conceive that we live in this world where, you have no brain, and then all of a sudden you die in a ditch and you had this whole big life, and then you lose your memories, you lose your consciousness, you lose everything about you. I can't imagine that world, but it's definitely plausible. There's also another possibility that there is a world after death, and whether it's our minds and memories and consciousness again, or maybe it's in another form. I don't know. I don't really think anybody gets to know, but I do think as humans and culture and society kind of spells things out to us and reads things out to us, who knows? Maybe it's something we feel inside, or maybe it's something that we've taught and learned along the way. I truly don't know what life is like after this, but in this particular life, I do hope you make the best of it. And I do hope you have the courage to try again. I do hope you have the courage to try loving. My friend told me the other day, he said, yeah, but I actually do have a fear of rejection. I'm afraid she's going to reject me. I do have a fear of going through that pain. I don't want to go through that pain. He's like, yeah, it's not guaranteed, but I don't want to go through that pain. First off, props to someone to be able to even be able to say that. But I tried to explain it to him. Please, I know it hurts, but you have me in your life. You have your friends, you have your network. Wouldn't you rather know for sure? And if somebody is not meant to be in your life, and if someone's going to ignore you, or if someone's not going to understand, well, one, that's your answer. But two, man, that leaves you open to something beautiful that was actually meant to be in your life. You guys know this. I've been starting to date somebody recently, and my old self never, ever would have admitted this. And as I was going through my trials with my ex, I never would have said this. My ego would have been too extreme, and I would never have listened to this future advice that I'm giving to myself from like 6 months ago, which is, if I would not have let go of the person that I really loved and swore up and down on my life that I was going to be with him forever, if I couldn't find a way to allow myself to try again, I would not have met this current guy that's in my life. I would not have. And I hate to admit that. My old self does not want to hear that. I just want to be right. But it's true. I would not have met this guy. And I can't say what I don't know about, anything. And this is very new and very fresh. It's only like a couple months old, maybe like a month and a half old. But the other day I was like, been nagging this dude friend of mine. I said like, hey, there's some things that I really, really want to eat up in the kitchen, and I'm never going to eat it. And I refuse to let it go to waste. And he's like, yeah, but that's not like super healthy, and I don't want to eat it, blah, 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 blah. But I kept nagging at him about it, right? So the last time I saw him, I'm like, not passive aggressive, but I'm just like putting things out there, and he's just grabbing it and he's putting it on the grill and he's making it. And I said like, why did you do that? Like, I knew you didn't want to eat this. why did I break you down and you finally did this with like a smile on your face? And he said, Evelyn, I just wanted to see you happy. I just wanted to make you happy. That's why I did it. I said, what the fuck? You just wanted to make me happy? So you did this thing that you like didn't want to do and that made you happy? Was seeing me happy? When's the last time a guy has fucking said that to you? Man. And I thought he had to, I'm not even going to say what I thought the guy had to look like, but I didn't know that that was another form of love too that I had not experienced yet. And it's different and it's different. And let me tell you, I'm here for it and I'm grateful for it. And it gives you a chance to believe that you too can find something really beautiful. And I don't know if it's going to last. I don't know. But this is just letting you know that time does heal and time carries on. And I am encouraging you to find beautiful people in your life, no matter how long it takes, because it took me over half a decade and I'm finally starting to see some light out of the end of the tunnel. And I have better friends and I have better lovers and I have a better life now. And I hope the same for you. Please hug yourself and please hug your loved ones. And more importantly, hug yourself right now. And know that you are not alone and that you are doing a great fucking job. I will be thinking about you when I am in Mexico and I will return next week. We're going to see if I know how to schedule an episode in advance and give you one while I'm gone and away. And when I come back, I'm sure I'll have a Mexico episode for you. And we'll see what happens. I love you guys. Take care. Thanks for listening. Bye.
All right, it's your turn. Let's do this. I know how to love, 'cause in my dreams I was taught by you. I know how to love, 'cause in my dreams I was taught by you. Spend a little time with me, and maybe you will see just temporarily fall.